Okay, grade 12s, we are going to discuss paper markets. So now if you still remember, when you talk about paper markets, we're actually referring to the market that is clustered with a large number of buyers and sellers. So now you should always know that this paper market is where demand is always equivalent to supply. So what do we mean when we say demand is always equivalent to supply under paper market? We mean that whatsoever that business is manufacture or process, it should actually be bought by consumers, everything. Okay, right. So now a paper market is characterized by paper competition. So now we can actually say that the conditions that result in paper competition include the following. So now we have what we have equal access to the technology required for population. And also we have no barriers to entry or exit from the market. What does it mean? It means that under this particular type of market, whenever businesses wants to join the market, they are free to join. Even when they are tired of operating in that particular market, they can actually exit the market at any time convenient to them. And also we have what no participant with the power to set the market price. So now most of these businesses under this market, all of them are price takers. Okay, so now when we say all of them are price takers, what we actually mean is that they all take the prevailing market price. They don't set their own price. No business can actually influence the price. Okay, right. So now according to equilibrium theory, a paper market will reach an equilibrium where the quantity supplied equals to the quantity demanded at the market price demand curve for an individual producer. So now what they normally mean is that our demand curve is always downward sloping and our supplies curve is always upward sloping. And then wherever the demand curve intersect with the supply curve, that's where we have our equilibrium. And then normally on our y-axis we have the price, and on our x-axis we normally have what? We normally have the quantity. So now it means that in this regard, then the business or firms are going to produce or sell quantity Q and then at the price P. Okay, right. So now that is the concept in line with what? In line with the equilibrium. So now the individual producer is a price taker and sells goods at the market price. So at this price, demand remains constant. What they do mean is that under this paper market, our demand curve is always behaving in a sense of being horizontal, where now we have the demand curve being equivalent to the price of a product, also being equivalent to average revenues, also equivalent to marginal revenues. So now if you still remember, we have what? We have a price as our y-axis, and we also have quantity as our x-axis. So now it says that higher price such as P1 cannot be charged as customers will be lost to other producers. So now a lower price such as P3 cannot be charged as a small profit or loss will actually be made. So now let's check here. If we pay attention to this graph here, we have what we have. The individual demand curve, and also we have what we have the paper market behavior demand curve. So now if you check here under individual demand curve, the demand curve is always downward sloping. And remember, we said demand curve is downward sloping because it obeys law of demand. And law of demand says that whenever the prices of goods and services are very high, the quantity demanded is going to drop. And also it says that whenever the prices of goods and services are very low, then the quantity demanded is going to increase. So now let's check out the supply curve, which is upward sloping. And now this supply curve is upward sloping because it obeys the law of supply. And this law of supply states that whenever the prices of goods and services are very high, then the quantity supplied is in the same manner is going to be very high. So now also it says that whenever the prices of goods and services are very low, then the quantity supplied in the same manner is going to be very low. So now we're saying that in this regard, the prevailing market price is going to be what is going to be P1. So this P1 is going to be market price. So now it means all businesses that are operating under this per market, they should always adapt to this P1 as the price. The moment they deviate from this price, it means that now they are not going to generate enough profit. Let's say now they are selling at the price what? At the price 2. And if you check price 2 is much higher than price 3. I mean, it's as higher than price 1. So now if the businesses are selling at price 2, it means that now they are going to sell with the price that is higher than the prevailing market price. And that is going to drive customers away from buying from that particular business. So in return, those particular business are going to generate what? Generate less profits or nothing at all, or generate the profits that are necessary to cover only cost of production or the spending on vectors of production. So we also have price P, which is P3. So now if businesses charge prices that are lower than P1, that is the indication that these businesses are going to what? Are going to attract a lot of customers. But even though these businesses are going to be in the position to attract a lot of customers, but now they are going to generate lesser profits, or they are just going to generate normal profit, and those normal profit can just cover only the spending on cost of production, rather than receiving too much profits that can give them the flexibility to increase our employees' salary, or that the flexibility to actually expand that particular business. So now this is individual producers, and then this one is under perfect market. So now if you check the demand curve for individual producer, so the demand curve for individual producer is always what? Is always sloping downwards, but the one for per market is always what? Horizontal. And I gave a reason why it is horizontal, because all these businesses under this particular market are all price takers. They don't set their own price, but they're supposed to go with the prevailing market price. Okay, right. So now surely creators, you do understand the implication and the essence of the difference between the demand curve under individual firms and the demand curve under a paper market. Okay, right. So now if you check, we are saying that in the short run, a paper market can make economic loss. In the short run, a paper market can make economic loss or economic profit or normal profit. So now with entry of more suppliers, the paper competitor will make only normal profit in the long run. So the Competition Act in South Africa, then the government introduced the Competition Act 89 of 1998, so as to promote competition in South Africa into achieving to achieve the following objectives. So now the major aim of this competition is to do what? Is to promote efficiency of economy, meaning when you talk of efficiency is when resources are used or utilized appropriately and not wasted. Also, we are saying that one of the objectives is to promote consumers, and to provide consumers with competitive prices and a variety of our products. Okay, right. And also one of the objectives is to promote employment, and also one of the objectives is to encourage South Africa to participate in world market and accept the foreign competition in South Africa, so as to enable small, medium, micro enterprises to participate in the economy. So now this MME stands for small, medium, and micro enterprises to participate in a particular economy. Also is to allow the previously disadvantaged to increase their ownership of our businesses. So now these are the major aims or the major objectives of our South African government to introduce this Competition Act. So now, grade 12s, if you can bear in mind, we know that for the economy to be healthy, there should be a competition amongst the businesses that are selling in the same market. Because the moment there is competition, it means that consumers in that regard, they are going to be advantaged. They are going to be advantaged in the sense that they are now going to be able to access products that are of a higher standard, or they are going to now access the products of a higher quality. And also in the same manner, this shows that these consumers are going to have the variety of goods to choose from. Now it means that now they can decide whether they want to buy from business A or business B. Okay, right, great talks. So now also we can actually say that the Competition Commission is there on the ground so as to investigate restrictive business practices, also abuse of dominant positions and measures to achieve equity and efficiency in the South African economy. So now if you still remember, great talks, so now the major essence or role of Competition Commission is to make sure that they go there on the ground to make sure that businesses are respecting or adhering to Competition Act. Remember, according to Competition Act, businesses shouldn't form any collusion. They shouldn't form any collusion. They shouldn't form any cartel. They shouldn't form any megas. They shouldn't even acquire one another, or they shouldn't take over one another. But what they should do, they should allow competition to take place, as I did explain the essence and the importance and the significance of competition in the previous slides. Okay, great talks. So now we also have a competition tribunal. So now this competition tribunal has jurisdiction through the Republic. So it is a tribunal of record and independent from the other competition institution. So now the tribunal's main functions are to grant exceptions, authorize or prohibit large megas, adjudicate if any misconduct takes place, also issue an order for costs or matters presented to it by the Competition Commission. So now remember, I said that once the Competition Commission is there on the ground and it does find out that some businesses are acting against the Competition Act by their making collusion with one another, they are forming a cartel with one another, they are also forming megas with one another, they are also taking over one another, or they acquire one another. So now the moment the Competition Commission fails to deal with such a behavior, then they can take the case to Competition Tribunal. Okay, right, great talks. So now we also have Competition Appeal Court. So now this one, Competition Appeal Court, we are saying that its status is similar to the High Court. It has jurisdiction of throughout the Republic, and is a court of record. Its main functions are to review orders made by the Competition Tribunal and amend or confirm these orders. So now, as I did say, that we have three bodies that are in line with our Competition Act. The moment now the case has been passed by the Competition Tribunal to make some judgment, then the moment our Competition Tribunal finds it difficult to deal with such a case, then they normally pass the case to Competition Appeal Court. So now when the case gets to Competition Appeal Court, there's no way that that case will be failed to dealt with. Okay, right, great talks. So now let's check tips on how to draw graphs to show various equilibrium position. So now if you still remember, great talks, I did say that whenever we talk of equilibrium in this regard, we check the intersection or the equality between our two variables. So now it can be the equality in line with demand supply. It can be also equality in line with our average revenue or marginal revenue with what marginal cost or average cost. Okay, right. So now let's check step 1 on how to draw graphs to show various equilibrium position. So step 1, first you draw your two axes, price P on the vertical axis and quantity Q on the horizontal axis. So remember, they meet at origin. Okay, right. So now note that the labeling of the axis is not the same for all the graphs. So what they mean is that whenever you draw the graph, first step, you must make sure that you draw two planes. So now these two planes, on your x-axis, you always have what? You always have a quantity. But now when it comes to your y-axis, you always have what? You always have a price. So now this is what they actually are saying that you must do. So now also they are saying that price P on the vertical axis, and then also have quantity Q on the horizontal axis. So now this is what they actually say whenever you start drawing what? Whenever you start drawing equilibrium position or showing equilibrium position. Okay, right. So now we are done with step 1. Let's check step 2. Step 2, they are saying that draw the demand curve followed by the marginal revenue curve in a per market. So now this is step 2. Remember, you already have quantity, you also already have the price for that particular product. So now they are saying step 2, this is what you do. You draw the demand curve, and now this demand curve, this is the price that firms normally charge. So now the demand curve is equivalent to what? Is equivalent to price, also equivalent to average revenue, which is as well equivalent to marginal revenue. So now this is the what? This is the step, the second step that you should always take into account. So now let's check what? Let's check the step number 3. Step number 3 says then draw the average what? The average cost curve. So now the average cost curve is going to behave like this. So this is the average cost curve. So now, but make sure that this average cost curve is tangent to what? Is tangent to the demand, the demand curve. Okay, right. So now also we have step 4. So now step 4, they are saying that then draw the marginal revenue curve, which must be cut the average cost curve at its minimum point. So now this is the minimum point of the average cost curve. So now the marginal cost curve is going to be what? Is going to be Nike shape. So now this is going to be your what? Your marginal cost curve, where it cuts the average cost curve at its minimum point. So now we also have step 5. So now step 5 says that identify profit maximization. So now profit maximization is this point where there is an equilibrium for its equilibrium or equality for marginal cost curve, also average cost curve, as well as the average revenue or marginal revenue. So now at this point, that's where now we have what? At this point, at E, that's where we have what? That's where we have marginal cost being equivalent to marginal revenue. So now this is the indication that profits are being maximized. So now what does it mean when we are saying profits are being maximized? We are saying that any point that lies beyond where there is an intersection of marginal cost curve and marginal revenue curve. So now it means that now there's going to be a loss. How is it going to be a loss? Because when you check after this point, we have the marginal cost curve being greater than or above the marginal revenue curve. That one on its own now is going to be a loss to the business, or it's going to be a loss in the market. And also we have the average average cost curve. And now if you check this average cost curve, it is above the average average revenue curve. And now this average revenue curve, which is below the average cost curve, indicates that now businesses are operating in a loss. So which means that can call for a shutdown of a business. Okay, right. So now let's check what? Let's check step number 6. Step number 6 says that you should determine quantity or drop a line from the profit maximization point to the x-axis, of which we did it already. We did drop this line from there towards what? Towards the axis for quantity. So now when you